The Catholic Church that we have today was created on the turn of the 20th century. The head of the work here was a German, and the architecture is accordingly influenced by German ecclesiastical architecture. It is designed in a symmetrical way to echo the balance or the symmetry of marriage. And what's interesting is that it seems like the pillars at the entrance are ancient pillars, sometimes the ancient base and a Doric-style capital used in their construction. If they found them here and they come from an older building, what type of building could it be? What was the nature of the building here in antiquity? The turn of the 20th century work did not involve proper archaeological work, but later, 1980s, mostly 90s, there was some work done here. Let's see what was found. Structures. You can see some artifacts here relating to different periods. One way to tell a Jewish area, a Jewish village, is if you have any stone purity vessels. And I don't see any of it. Although this is actually interesting. This could be industrial waste, which is formed when purity stone vessels are made. I found quite a lot of those in a cave in Mount of Olives, where we know that they made such purity stone vessels. Okay? Now the text tells us that there were such stone vessels which were installed according to the purity matters of the Jews. Remember this? But they were not small size, like the ones that I was describing. They had to be very big. We do know that in the Jewish quarter, we sometimes found in the priestly homes fragments of giant stone vessels that fitted. None of this was found here. Here you can see 4 jars on top. And one of them, these are great. This is actually made out of stone. But if the local tradition in the past was suggesting that this is one of the 6 jars, today they describe it as or admit to the fact that it's made out of alabaster. Alabaster, not alabaster. What's the word? Yes, alabaster. Which comes from Alexandria. It is 1st century, but it's not really local. Do you think? Yeah. Now, do you think that this small village in the Galilee could afford imported alabaster jar? 6 of them? It doesn't really hold water. But there is, I argue that there is evidence here that indirectly links to this site in an interesting way. The capitals and the Doric capitals and the pillars at the entrance, for one, indicates a public building work. What type is it? Right underneath the floor, but this group was praying, I didn't want to disturb them. But even when you will see it, you won't see it because the glass above has been scratched, so you cannot see through it anymore. And And yet, you have to take my word for it that underneath it is a description, which, in what language? It's Aramaic. Very familiar, very similar to the Aramaic inscriptions we saw on the side aisle of the synagogue in Sepphoris, for instance. Okay? This is not the Christian church of Byzantine times. This is a synagogue that existed here. The date, the style of this is not 1st century, it's 5th century, it's Byzantine times again. But synagogues tend to be always at the same place. This big stone container presented in this church, enabling you to give offerings. People are putting notes. It's very tempting to relate this to the 6 stone vessels. But is there a sign saying so? There is none. Okay? And for a good reason. Because when this was found, they knew this could not be part of it. This was really found underneath the floor level around here, with a hole in the wall in the back. Now I'm expecting you to tell me by now what this really is. And I'll give you the hint. See the grooves here? Very good. This is the back. You see, after the baskets placed on top are squeezed back to the beam, anchored to the wall, or the litmus boring. This is a stone container, but it's got nothing to do with turning water into wine. It's part of it.
The Filistin one?
And I've got the pictures to show you. They had it on the internet and then they took it off. But I did download when it was possible, and I owe you those pictures too.
Why do a stone vessel? That's a lot of work.
Because imagine the weight pressed against it, half a ton. You cannot make it of clay.
Oh, I see. You're saying that this it
Also
goes straight
necro-
into it. It doesn't drain into it. It's actually pressed into
Pressed
this.
above it. The baskets were pressed right above it.
Right above it.
Also in Ekron it was stone.
The inscription would be
I don't so there could actually be
Totally
more.
worth it.
There could be.
Building whose pillars were later recycled in a later stage. This indicates a sequence of making public buildings in this area. Okay, leading to my basic theory, hypothesis, that the 5th century Jewish synagogue may have been here on top of a 1st century synagogue as well. There is a mass going on at the main church, so without words, I'm just going to point under the floor where the inscription is.